Hi, my name's Amanda, and you're watching the Hoops Family Network. Welcome to the Hoops Family Network. Today, we are spending our Mother's Day weekend here at Castle Noel. Today is going to be a special Mother's Day special. When you come today, you get a pin for all the mothers. So if you're brand new to the channel, please subscribe, tap the notification bell for more, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it, and comment down below, have you ever heard of Castle Noel before? Now, let's go in and start our tour.
Here we are in the gift shop. The toys up there. Lights. All the toys for kids. These are like micro Lego stuff. Back here, see what there is back here. Here we have their gift shop, themed around all types of Christmas stuff. Got the Nightmare Before Christmas. A couple other Star
Where'd they go? Yeah, took them to the bathroom.
Grinch stuff here. Dr. Seuss and all.
Oh, hi, Mommy. Hi. Here's birthdays.
Castle Noel cups. A shirt for when you ride the slide, which will show you that. Random Christmas stuff. Where you can view your pictures from going down the slide.
And on Fox 8 News in the morning.
Where's your buddy? Your best buddy.
Yeah, we are. How was the chicken today? Yeah. I never grew up in the first place. That's true. I just stay right there. All right, come on, 3 fist bump. What a place. Kids will love it. Adults will love it. It's amazing. So coming up in the next hour, I'm going to take you on a display. You know, have you been to New York City and some gorgeous water displays? Yes. Well, I'm going to show you one of them. They have a bazillion here, but one of them is actually idol shoes. With glitter. Yeah, we're talking some iconic store displays from New York City. Kitty's going to show you some others, but we have a special treasure from right here in our area, Cleveland, Ohio, downtown. You guys remember Higbee's? Yeah, we have a window display from Higbee's. Yes. Not only a window display, but a mountain.
Also, the mountain that we're standing on is from the Higbee Company, and when they filmed
filmed A Christmas Story. Yeah. We're gonna take.
Hi everybody and welcome to Castle Noel. We are America's largest year-round indoor Christmas entertainment attraction, but really, we're just a big family project gone wild. We wanted to do something to celebrate all the great Christmases we grew up with as kids. And my dad was inspired by a very simple thing. It's really something how the largest Christmas attraction in the U.S. came from something so simple. My grandfather was a carpenter back in the Depression and there was no work. The only work he could find was dismantling old Victorian houses. They would literally take the nails apart and restack the wood and sell it as reclaim. And in those old Victorian houses, there were these beautiful wall coverings. And my grandfather would peel back pieces of it, take it home and put it under the bed and keep it for Christmas time. On Christmas Eve, when all the kids would go to bed, my grandfather would pull out those papers from under the bed. He'd sit down at the table with some glue and scissors, and he'd create a little village that eventually lined the whole table. And my dad, being the oldest, would peek through the door and watch it. It was a simple gift, but that inspired my dad. My dad was like the original Clark Griswold. Everything at our house had to be bigger and crazier every single year. In our house, we always had a 16-foot tall Christmas tree in the living room that was cable wired to the ceiling. I used to love to go out and get those trees while everybody else was bringing their nice little 8-foot trees and attach them to their car. My dad, my brother, and I would roll on in with our 16-foot monstrosity, and everybody would look. And if they weren't looking then, the sound of my dad's feet as he crushed the roof of his van was loud enough that they were all looking at that point. And my brother and I, we would fight over the front seat because that was the best place to sit if you wanted to watch people point and laugh. And they did. And we'd get that tree home, and my dad would knock it off the truck, and he'd survey the situation. First, he'd look at the bottom of the tree, and the tree's 12 feet wide. And then he'd turn around and look back at the front door, and the front door is still 3 feet wide, just like last year. He'd yell to my mom to get everybody out of the way, and she would take the door and pull it all the way open, as if it mattered. And my dad would pick up that tree, and he'd start running for the door. Now, it was slow at first because it was a really big tree, but by the time he hit the door, he had enough speed and the proper trajectory to ram the tree through the door. And the snow would fly, and the needles would fly, and we'd all wear shoes till July. That's how we think that whole Christmas in July thing got started anyway. And then the decorating would start. First, we'd cable wire the tree to the ceiling, and our tree never touched the floor. It hung about 6 inches off the floor in a big old wash tub my dad had. And even though my parents told me not to do it, when my friends were around, I just had to give it a little shove so they could see it swing, just a little, yeah. And then my dad would decorate everything. Every beam in the house was covered with garland and ornaments of all kinds. It was like a canopy of glittering Christmas over our whole house. And he'd find new things every year to add to it. But my favorite day, a day I used to call Nun Day. That was the day my dad's cousin, the nun, would bring all the other nuns over, and it was like a whole flying nun convention at our house. And they'd be chattering and having such a good time and pointing and talking. And my dad could ask just one question of all those nuns that would make them all silent at exactly the same time. What can I get you all to drink? And it was in all those moments of joy that Castle Noel was born. So we knew we had to up the ante, and we did. At Castle Noel, we house the world's largest privately held collection of Christmas movie props and costumes. Come on, people. That's a big deal. Let's try that again. Hi, everybody. You're going to be really excited when you hear this. You know that Castle Noel houses the world's largest privately held collection of Christmas movie props and costumes? Yeah. And millions of dollars worth of animated New York City Christmas windows? That's a big deal. You know, in New York, they spend upwards of $1 million on windows. At the end of the season, they're destroyed because they don't want those to end up anywhere where they're unintended, not on eBay, not parted out, not used in somebody else's display. So we're really thankful that through our relationships in New York, we've been able to make some wonderful things happen. We now have windows here at Castle Noel from Saks Fifth Avenue, Lord & Taylor, Bloomingdale's, Marshall Fields, and Macy's, all right here at Castle Noel. Today, you're even going to go up inside of our restoration area, see literally hundreds of things being restored for the future. And in there, the award-winning, most beautiful window of New York City last year, the Platinum Award-winning Sweet Shop window from Lord & Taylor is up there running. It is absolutely spectacular. You're going to love it. And of course, we have our Blizzard Vortex, our Santa's Chimney Squeeze. And in our Santa's Chimney Squeeze, when you're in there, you're going to be walking underneath laser lights, dancing chandeliers, and 100,000 glass ornaments. Yeah. Well, last year we had 75,000 ornaments. Didn't seem quite right, so we upped the ante. And then in our grand hall, you're going to see the really big stuff like the Naughty and Nice globe from the center of Santa's castle and the Tim Allen Santa Claus 2 and 3. Those naughty toy soldiers that tried to take over Santa's castle and Santa Claus 2. You have 400 props and costumes from the Grinch, including the Grinch's sleigh. And then you'll take a ride down our slide just like Ralphie. How does that sound, everybody? All right. Our Wall of Fame shows some of the people over 80 years old who have gone down our slide. If you're over 80, you get your picture on our wall, and then you're immortalized forever. Our oldest slide rider is 101.5 years old. When she decided to ride the slide, I went in there to make sure she actually wanted to ride the slide, and not just that her family wanted the biggest picture on our wall. And when I asked her, she said, I'm 101 years old, I'll do whatever I want. So I shoved her down the slide. I did it nicely though. 50,000 people watched that online that night, and so did the governor's staff bring him down, and he took a ride down the slide and got his picture as well. But outside this door, our first display is so sweet, sentimental, and touching, it's been known to make grown men cry. So ladies, mind your men. We don't want any crying guys out there so early in the season. And it is our tribute to all things warm, fuzzy, and Christmassy. But mostly it's just our tribute to bad relatives. Yeah. Now, if you're sitting out there thinking, gee, I don't really have any bad relatives, my dad says, then it's probably you. Well, I want to thank you all for coming to Castle Noel. For a family to pull off a display this enormous is a huge undertaking. I'm here 7 days a week, year-round, to make it more beautiful. And I absolutely could not do it without your visits. So thank you for making this dream of a great big Merry Christmas for as many people as possible. Merry Christmas, everybody. Oh, and if you're wondering where I'm from, I'm North Polish.
Alright, now these two gentlemen here are the Nutcracker and Mouse King. These are one of a set of two sculptures that Mark did for his daughter. When she was little, she danced in a performance with the Cleveland Ballet of the Nutcracker. She was one of the mice. He told the people of the ballet they could keep these as long as they stayed in Cleveland. Actually drove it across country with the Naughty and Nice globe from Santa Claus to get to the back of it.
And here we have the RV from Christmas Vacation. The scene. You guys can take pictures, videos, whatever you want throughout the tour. And when you're inside, you can look at this room. Alright, now if you look up at all that beautiful old woodwork up there, that is all fake. That is sculpture done by Mark. That took him about 4 months. He does want to bring that look all the way down so that when you walk in here, it's like you walk into an old castle. Over here, you've got Santa's mail room. Mine is Santa. That is because Mrs. Claus did call him back home for the season. She wanted him with her. But we are collecting our letters and getting all ready for when he comes at Christmas time, so we're all prepared for him. Over here, those are a couple of elves hanging out in a reindeer barn. We want to take a little soak in the tub. We forgot to close the curtains. That is a Macy's window. And above me, the one that's ticking, that is from Lord & Taylor. You guys start with Lord & Taylor, you're going to end with Lord & Taylor because the rest of these windows are actually embedded into Santa Claus Mountain. I'm going to set off the clock for you. Christmas Vacation song is stuck in my head. Alright, this is our Hall of Fame, our Hall of Memories. These are just some of the stars that bring Christmas to us in a variety of ways every year. Whether it's through TV shows, movies, or I feel I'm lucky. I grew up in the 60s and 70s. The variety shows would come out every year at Christmas time.
Depending on which tour guide you get, we all have our different favorite pictures. Mine prove that, yeah, I did grow up in the 70s, because of course I have to point out Scott Bale. He was Chachi on Happy Days. Every week me and my sister would fight over who.
Here, this is our Hall of Fame. These are some of the wonderful people that helped Santa Claus create all that great Christmas spirit. And that's why we're here, so that you can have a great Christmas spirit, take it home, and enjoy the rest of that holiday season. Well, let's look at some of the great photos. One of my favorites, Ron Howard, his little brother Clint. This photograph is from the movie The Grinch. And we like to talk about Ron Howard because we have over 400 props and costumes from The Grinch that you're gonna see later, even The Grinch's sleigh. But back in the day, in the 1960s, Ron and his little brother Clint were the stars of the #1 and #2 shows on television. Ron was, of course, Opie Taylor in the Andy Griffith Show, but what was his little brother the star of? Gentle Ben! Hey, if you got that one, let's go see one that's a little more difficult. This is the Munsters Christmas photo. Of course, there's Lily Munster. She played the mom.
It's not
now,
a Christmas
was played
movie.
by Yvonne DiCarlo. Now, back in the day, Yvonne DiCarlo was a big star. In fact, she was the star of a major Hollywood holiday motion picture. Does anybody know what that was? This one's a little tougher, isn't it? Notice I said holiday, not Christmas, because she was Moses' wife in the 10 Commandments. Okay, listen, this is a wonderful place, and we love your comments about how much you enjoy Castle Noel. But we actually got a call from a lady who was so upset with us because of one of our photographs. And I didn't understand why, but let me just tell all of you. Those are knees.
And it is still up, it's back there. I always know when it's spotted. People point, people laugh.
There's a look.
I trip over it just once a day. I've been lucky, I haven't done it the last couple of times. It's kind of bad if you have a wheelchair, because it sometimes sticks to the bottom end.
Yeah.
All right, when you look at that back wall there, that is all dedicated to the movie White Christmas. That is Mark and Dana's favorite Christmas movie. One of mine too. The jeweled wall here, Dana and her friends made that. Took them a little over 1.5 years because they actually sat there and hand glued all those on one at a time. Very beautiful result, not my idea of a fun project. I myself would have purposely done things wrong just so they'd told me to go do something else. It's so much better than quitting. And they got to come up with a really nice way of saying, you know what, you'd be better off dusting. And it's true. And now here's Mark, he's going to tell us where.
Those are Cortex, so we can all go back to our childhood and enjoy Castle Noel the way it was intended, like a bunch of kids. So are you ready to go? I am. Might get cold in there. I think I'll take my hands. Whoa! Whoa! Wow, I really do feel young. I think I'm gonna need a new pair of pants though. Maybe we're better off the other way. I don't know if this is better than that. Well, maybe I'll go back in later and spend some time at the beach. Well, up next we're going to look at some beautiful 2009 Bloomingdale's Christmas windows, as well as our I Had That Toyland experience. Come on, let's go.
I gotta wait a sec till the bells stop and you can hear me talk. Okay, this is the Blizzard Vortex. At no time will this floor or railing actually move. When you step in this doorway, everything is gonna lean left for you. If when you're in there you feel dizzy or disoriented, just close your eyes, hold on to the railing, keep on going. If you have any problems with vertigo, just step off to the side. I will turn it off before you go through. You'll know right about here whether this is a good idea or a bad idea. All right, guys, head on in. Y'all notice where I stand.
What?
Hold the rail. Go ahead, bud.
What? Yeah, that's what I mean.
All right, now this right
is a project that Mark is working on right now. It is going to be like an ice flow type thing, and it's going to be polar bears involved. I can't wait till it's done because I've seen the polar bears and they're cute. Over there, we've got 2009 gummy bears and glitter bears. It's a 2009 Bloomingdale's window. We are going to see another Bloomingdale's window a little farther into the tour. There will be no bears, but there will be a lot of glitter, which I love. Now over here you have the I Had That Toyland experience. In there you're going to see toys most.
A selection without breaking staff. Pretty little girls, big beautiful dolls, and happy talk galloping hobby horses are found at every toy department. A handful of enticing puppetry brings a glow of anticipation. And if you want father's heart to be fast for fast this morning, have Chris Kringle deliver a load of these streamliners to the children. If the limited is held up at the range, 12, go! And the Christmas flyer gets the green light. Everybody's friend has something for everyone.
Oh, yeah.
If you know someone he might miss, open up your heart and have a Merry Christmas. This is Gilbert, 1963. And here's how they're sold. The most rugged, most accurate, easiest to fly planes ever made. With a 1963 addition to the fleet, the sporty Gilbert Musketeer, which also features exclusive automatic co-pilot and muffler.
You know, I think it would be great if you could invent something that would hold a plane while you started. Then you could fly it by yourself.
We have it for you. We call it Plane Away. You can control it while you're flying. And here's something else for you too. Ready? Bombs away. We call it Bomb Away. And to complete the package, take a look. Just part of the brand new packaging story for 1963.
And then I'll see it, especially like this time of year when it's not come out on busy. Like during the busy season, I can't let people stay there that long. But I'll stand here and I'll listen, and I listen to everything that people say.
I know. That's how I feel, because I had a lot of that
And
stuff.
it's sad because they can't envision how fast it's going.
Yeah, because everything is all on the phone.
Yep. Like I've had people, I've had younger kids ask me what kind of
Oh my God. You know, yeah, husband and I were back then. We had to get up and turn it.
or you sit right in front of it, you know, change for the family. Yep.
When you turned it, we had the poor channel went real fast.
I found them out. I had pictures of me and my sister like laying on our stomach right in front of it. We wouldn't have to get up to change the channel. We had the rabbit ears with the tin foil, making it longer.
It makes you wonder what the world's going to be like in 40 years, you know?
I would be there. Body street signs. Rotate them, put them at a totally different angle, and you have put new stuff up on them. You have a whole new street. Over there is New York City windows. There's a scene where Buddy's stepmom and brother are singing in front of them. Now, some of you might think there's something about this set that's vaguely familiar. You just can't quite put your finger on it. It's all based on the old Rocky and Bullwinkle TV show. Those kind of wonky windows.
Because my dad's cousin used to fix TVs like that with all the tubes, and I'd go down in his basement and he had a wall of tubes.
I remember when you go to Sears and get a new tube for your TV. The only thing to add there is a rotary phone.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I got, mine's a push button. I have the Princess phone. That was my 16th birthday.
All right, now this case right here is not from 1985. This is Fred Claus starring Vince Vaughn and Paul Giamatti. That is the leather coat he wears throughout, Vince Vaughn wears throughout the movie. Down below you've got a couple of the elf costumes. It might surprise you to know that those were, excuse me, hiccup, actually worn by adults, not children. All the actors who played the elves came from this remote village in Russia where everyone was just really small and petite. Everything on this side is from 1985. This is from the movie The Santa Claus, starring Dudley Moore as Patch the Elf. That was his costume you saw when you first came in. Now, when you see movies with Santa and his reindeer, a lot of times they'll focus in on particular reindeer. Like in the Tim Allen remote control airplane would. I'm going to show you a quick little video. You're going to see him make the reindeer and you'll see it fly in the video.
Meanwhile, the scene with the real deer on the New York roof has added complications. They're solved by another of the Oscar winners on the Santa Claus team, Derek Meddings, director of visual and miniature effects.
We sent a crew to America and they were doing all the aerial photography. I also sent a stills man who has shot all these transparencies for me, an American, and he shot all the rooftops that he could find.
Meddings takes an intense personal pride in his exacting work. He's a total perfectionist down to the last flake of snow.
A long time ago, we made a radio-controlled man. He didn't fly, but he was suspended in space, and all his limbs, I had them built as a human being would be built, with the arms not bending backward, they would bend the right way. And I thought the same thing would apply here. If we made reindeers, and all their joints were as near to being perfect as they could be, when they moved their leg, then their shoulders would move. So that it wouldn't just be a case of a leg moving and nothing else, it would be their legs and their shoulders and ripples in their body.
Even kitchen appliances can come in handy for movie making today. The foam is set in a mold to obtain the correct body curvatures for the miniaturized deer. The plastic skeleton gets a new coat. Once again, household appliances come to the aid of modern technology.
They design these mechanics inside. Then we put in very small motors, but their heads and their necks, to get that neck movement and the head going up and down and the neck moving, we put in a radio-controlled unit. So that was completely independent from their legs.
And here's how Derek Meddings' team realized Santa's flight.
I might as well go farming.
And all the little sparkles you see falling down, those were actually hand-painted on each cell after filming was done.
Didn't work again. That's all right, Donny boy.
And that is
we'll
him.
get it next time. Tell him it's all right.
Hey, like, don't sweat it. You did your best, you know?
Hey, how would you like to drive for a while?
Me? Drive?
Sure. It's easy. Here, take the rein. Well, come on. Oh, great.
And here's Dudley Moore's patch.
What the North Pole looks like at all.
PZ knows what he's doing. He knows how to grab the people. This isn't real. The public doesn't want reality. They want the dream.
From the old North Pole, where the elves make toys, it's a Christmas treat for you girls and boys. Oh, my name's Patch. As you can tell, I'm an elf myself. So let's give a yell. Well, the patchwork present comes from me.
Now I used to think that all the colored lights in here were for like an ambiance thing until one of the other tour guides, much younger than me, said no, because the white lights of the regular light bulbs are so harsh that it would start to disintegrate the outer layer of the reindeer, because it's the same foam latex that Halloween masks are made out of. And like I said, 1985. And when Mark did get these, he found them in they were found in a barn in England, so they've been stored just in a barn, so they weren't really well taken care of. All right, now this next room is one of my favorites because it's very shiny and sparkly. In here, there's over 100,000 Christmas ornaments on the ceiling and walls in here. This is just a kind of a way to take you back to your childhood when we would lay under the tree and look up through the branches. Is everybody okay with flashing lights? Okay, oh, come on in. Ryan.
Rick, come here. Come with Mom.
Come here.
Go ahead.
I don't think we're going all the way through.
Looks like you are.
Moves into this neighborhood, and he and Matthew brought up this huge war of lights. Danny wants to win. He figures the best way to do that is make my house seen from outer space. This is the model they used to film from above to make it look like outer space. And when Mark got this, he was told it was fully functional, it worked fine. Yet, no, this is all it did. Isn't that fun to look at? Yeah, no. So what happened was they sent it to him with no lights inside. So Mark and an engineer spent 3 years coordinating the lights and the music for what you're about to see. Inside here, there's over 80,000 fiber optic tip lights.
Hi everybody, thanks for coming. Really happy that you came. I hope you enjoy these lights. I did them all for you.
Costumes from the movie A Christmas Carol. It's the TNT version starring Patrick Stewart as Scrooge. Mark's going to be on the screen in just a second. He's going to tell you a little bit about the costumes, and as he does, I'm going to show you my extreme talent of just standing here.
Hello! Oh my, welcome to merry old England! Yeah, we have some of the most wonderful costumes from the Christmas Carol movie in here. This is our London Street. London Street houses the costumes from the 1997 Christmas Carol movie starring Patrick Stewart. That's right, captain of the Starship Enterprise. Beam me up. Earl Grey hot, please. Yeah, he played Scrooge. And now you can see the costumes he wore. The first costume is the costume that Patrick Stewart wore in the beginning of the movie when he tells his nephew he doesn't want to have anything to do with
Merry Christmas on his lips with it. Boiled with his own pudding and bedded with a steak of holly through his heart.
There's nothing the world is so hard on as poverty, Beth. And there's nothing it professes to condemn with such severity as
And in the last case, there's some really special costumes in here. One that I'd like to talk about is that beautiful velvet dress. In fact, that fabric's called silk velvet. And when they made this movie, they researched and found vintage fabrics so that they could really create something that fit the period. Silk velvet was made for a long time, but production was stopped at the beginning of World War II. So we know that the fabric to create this beautiful silk velvet dress is over 75 years old.
Now down in the bottom of this case is another version of A Christmas Carol. These are some handmade soft sculpt dolls. They were donated to us from the Halley building. They sat on the jewelry counter there as far back as the early 1960s. To me, they look like the Muppets. Statler and Waldorf, the grumpy old men up in the balcony. And if you've ever seen the Muppet version of A Christmas Carol, that is who played Marley and Marley. And that happens to be my favorite version of A Christmas Carol. If I come around the corner, I think you might recognize this room. This is Elf, starring Will Ferrell as Buddy. That is one of multiple versions of a costume that he wore in the filming of this movie. This was from one scene when he was with the other elves. They made it shorter and tighter on him, just to make him look a little more out of place because he was a human in the elf world. In the crib down there, that is the baby Susie costume. That is Buddy and Jovi's daughter. You saw her at the end of the movie when they went up to visit Papa Elf up at the North Pole. And of course, no display is complete without that gift for someone special, that lovely nightgown that he gave his dad, and the Gimbals box that it came in. Now behind you is a purple costume you're not going to recognize. It's from a deleted scene where he is playing, or Buddy is playing hockey with the other elves. It'll be on the screen in just a second, and I'll tell you when it's coming up, because it's really funny. Now this is one of our favorite rooms to show, because this is one of the first rooms where the kids come in. Buddy the Elf is better known as Drew Hosever, the Angry Elf from A Christmas Story. See, he's really not all that bad. Now if you, I don't know. I was going to start, but it's going to be on in a sec, so. He's going to Elaine. I have to be honest, I had no clue because I didn't grow up here. But Mr. Jingling is someone you would go to visit up on Halley's 7th floor. Here comes the song. You'd visit him like you did Santa. You'd hear stories, he would take pictures. The story of Mr. Jingling is Santa lost the key to the toy room. Christmas was going to be canceled. So Mr. Jingling came along, he created a key, got the toys out, saved Christmas, and became the official keeper of the keys. Apparently Santa's a little absent-minded with his keys. Now the fun story about Mr. Jingling is he was played by different gentlemen through the years. Last one being the most recognizable. So Mr. Jingling, keeper of the keys, real name, Earl Keys. And kind of like this place being owned and operated by a gentleman named Claus, who looks like Santa. And that is his real last name, by the way. He didn't change it. I always used to think it was fake, but nope, it's not. Anyway, come on in here. Alright, this is Christmas with the Cranks, starring Tim Allen, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Dan Aykroyd. In this movie, the Cranks' daughter has joined the Peace Corps, and she's not going to be home for Christmas. So he says, you know what? Let's not celebrate. Let's go on a cruise. She's not really happy with it because she loves Christmas, but she goes along with them. Here's a little clip from the movie of Luther dragging the snowman up on the roof. The pants and jacket he's wearing are in the display case, and so is what you're going to see Dan Aykroyd wearing. There he is. There. And Dan's that guy in the neighborhood who wants everything perfect, so he's so excited to see the snowman finally going up.
Hey!
Now that snowman's eyes are going to glow red and his don't. That's because that was done with CGI after filming was done.
No.
you saw he shattered. How can that be if I told you that's the same snowman? Movie star, stunt double. Ooh, that was sudden. Christmas spirit. If they don't move, there's a chance you could be a Grinch, which means I will keep you here until you're filled with the Christmas spirit and can get the ornaments blocked. The other side is 2016 Saks Fifth Avenue Nutcracker. So you'll see how they've changed in the making of the windows through the years. Now you saw in that video, they do the big reveal at Thanksgiving, take them down at the day after New Year's, and destroy them because they don't want anybody else to get them, which is extremely sad. This set was saved because it came out the anniversary year of the ballet, and it actually toured with the ballet. Angry, she did not get her Nutcracker. She had this beautiful castle. Her brother got this nice cannon, a rocking horse, but she did not get that Nutcracker she wants so bad. Remember, that was just Christmas Eve, so Christmas morning comes, she got a Nutcracker. If you look under the brother's horses, he rocks backwards. You get a little preview of what's coming up in the next window. Now for myself, I honestly don't know why she wants that Nutcracker because he's scary looking. That's me. The next one, this is my favorite window. This is the battle between the Nutcracker and the Mouse King. Now, if you know the story of the Nutcracker, it's all actually Clara's dream. So she took the castle that she got for Christmas and made that the castle that they're battling over. Why the darkest window in here is my favorite, I do not know. Might say a little something about me. But I think I like it because they made the mice cute and fuzzy. The last window here is the prettiest one. This is the Nutcracker has defeated the Mouse King, and he takes Clara to meet his mother, the Queen. Now, when you just look at the mother's dress and see all the detail that went into it, the sequins, the lace, all that, makes it really sad that they destroy them. Because for me, if you're creative enough to come up with this, you should be able to come up with an idea of something else to use it for. Change your clothes or something. Now our next stop is restoration. This is another favorite place to go. This is what it looks like when things come to mark. Because my fun things I do when I come up here, especially like when I'm turning off the lights and stuff, is I'll pick like a particular thing, like I always do dogs, and I'll see how many of them I can find in here. It's just something to do. Alright, now, back there, those Mary blocks are from the movie The Grinch Is Stole Christmas, starring Jim Carrey. The reason those are there is to show you what those products are, what the props are made out of. Foam covered in plastic. Are any of you guys from Canton? The fuzzy bear back there? He's from the Canton Mall.
Oh.
I guess he used to tell bad dad jokes. He worked the first year here, which I was not here. But then he kind of decided not to work anymore. But for some reason, I think he's so cute. But everybody who knows the Canton Mall knows him, so. Yeah, Mickey's back there. Now Mark does switch out. Josephine Baker, she was a famous jazz singer who always walked around with her pet leopard. The blue room of the White House here kind of gives you an idea of what happens when things come here. They had to saw it into 4 pieces to get it out of the window, and now Mark has to work at getting it back together. I'm pretty sure that's one of the snow globes. Sometimes things just get moved in here and I don't know what they are. Over here, all these people with the curly hair, that is a window set called the Little Souls. In it, the 2 older women create this magic coat for Santa. And he puts the toys in the pockets, they would disappear. And then when he gets to your house, he can magically pull out the correct toy. That's Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty. When you're on the other side of the White House here, there's 3 characters here. This is what I mean when not packing with care. They have no heads, some of them have no heads or hands. And if you need that actual display, you have to go rooting around through all this stuff or Mark's giant warehouse and match up the head and hands. Somebody found his. They're in a bag at his feet. There's one of the tin soldiers from Tim Allen's Santa Claus. You'll see a couple more when we go downstairs. And this is Lord & Taylor's Platinum Award-winning window sweet shop. Nothing in there is real, sadly. But we will see another sweet shop window when we get back downstairs. This is one of those ones that when you look at it long enough, it makes you really hungry. There's nothing you can do because it's all fake. And if you've ever seen the movie A Christmas Story with Ralphie and all his friends, and the opening sequence where they're all at the department store looking in the window, pressed up against the window, this Mrs. Claus here is actually in that window display. This is Captain Hook's pirate ship from Peter Pan. One of the bigger windows.
Time here at Castle Noel. I wanted to take a couple of minutes before you had a chance to see our next display to just express the amazing gratitude that we have to Saks Fifth Avenue for allowing us to bring these incredible pieces of art for all of us to enjoy. I wanted you to get a sense of what it was like for us to be there, but also what it was like the night they were launched. This is absolutely unbelievable. We cannot believe these incredible treasures are coming back to Castle Noel. Just mind-blowing. You should be here and see it and feel it. It's just, the energy's incredible. This is surreal. This is like some kind of a dream. Right up there. It's like a scene from the movie. Bring this back.
Absolutely mind-blowing, incredible. Just beautiful. Wait till you see them.
Nice teamwork. We get all the boxes, get all the little stuff, and we'll get all the flats out. Once we get all the flats out, I want to start putting them in the truck. So let's take our little time machine and let's go back to that night, November 22nd, 2016, and experience what it was like to be there for the grand opening of the Land of 1,000 Delights.
Good evening. We are live from Fifth Avenue in New York City. Welcome to Saks Fifth Avenue's annual holiday window unveiling, Land of 1,000 Delights. And now, join your host for a journey through the rest of Saks Fifth Avenue's Land of 1,000 Delights.
You guys want to come on here and see more of the windows? They're all based on candy, cookies, and cake. It took me a little while to realize that first stockings are those little dot candies on the face. It took me like 2 years to figure it out. It's kind of sad. You guys enjoy the windows. I'm just going to wait on the other end so I don't hover over you. Right. in my mood. Some put them together because I used to have another job, so they would do it during the week. Now that I'm retired, whenever they put stuff up, I get to watch them. This one was supposedly the hardest one to put together because of the different spinning things. At least that's what they told me. It's amazing.
Doesn't spin.
Oh, which one's not? This one not spin?
The last one?
This,
like,
yeah, the one right here in the corner.
Just go straight
I thought maybe it was a secret and we're not supposed to.
In one horse open sleigh, across the fields we go, we're laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail.
Again, all kinds of yummy looking things in there. Now that rope used to be attached to the bell of the church, but the first year all the guests, and I'm saying who wouldn't do it, rang the bell as they walked by. City got mad, so now it's just decoration. I'm the first one back. Now this is Cindy Lou Who's bedroom from The Grinch Stole Christmas. Now the fun story about how Mark got this is, there was a woman in Colorado who had this set. She had a nail salon and she wanted each station to be a different theme. This was one of the themes. He tried to explain to her that you can't do that because this is just foam covered in plastic like those blocks we saw upstairs. She said, oh no, I'm gonna do it. He said, it won't even last you half a day. So he made a deal with her. He duplicated the furniture, made her furniture look just like it, and that they traded, and that's how we got the actual set. Everything in here was in the movie except the trees. The trees are ours. It wasn't all necessarily actually in her bedroom, but it was in the movie. Over here are the little Souls windows I told you about, the two women that created the magic coat for Santa. And over here in this display, you actually see Santa with all the toys in his coat. And behind me over here is the other Bloomingdale's window. Yep.
Yeah, that's the one he was singing in, huh?
All the lovely glittery shoes. It's not the shoes that attract me, it's the glitter. I did one day when I was downstairs find a whole box full of glittery shoes when I was exploring. One of those, would he miss it if I took one? Display, all glitter. He'd know. Alright, when you're done looking at the windows, we're going to be on this side of the room here looking at that set of doors. Because I don't want to whack you with the door, you want to be on this side over here. Or away from the doors anyway. Alright, in here is our grand hall. You're going to see over 250 props and costumes from the Grinch. Stuff from Jingle All the Way and Santa Claus 1, 2, and 3. Of course, the slide is in there too. That's just like a little side benefit, I guess. So if you guys want to count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yay! over 120 miles of fiber optic lights in there. So Mark pretty much bought out the entire amount from the state of Ohio. Took it all. Over here you have Jingle All the Way, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Turbo Man and Booster, and if you look in the corner, there's Arnold's head. Again, used for like lighting and makeup and getting ready for a shot. We also have Tim Allen's head from Santa Claus 1, 2, and 3, with his Santa face on. This right here is the Naughty and Nice Club that was hitched to the back of the RV when they drove it across country. Of course, we have Ralphie's bunny suit. If you guys want to take pictures with that, you're more than welcome. He's also an animatronic reindeer who does not move at this time. My dream is if you walk by this and you like break a laser beam and you would turn and look at you. Then you freak out. See? Giant Christmas tree here. Eventually Mark is going to totally strip it and relight it up. There's going to be a whole musical light so it's going to go all the way around here. I'll give you a little preview of what we're in the next area. In this case, they're selling all Santa Claus movie. The helmet jetpack with an Elf Went to Save Santa. The lovely outfit for on his day from Ryan David and Molly Shannon. That's TubeBuddy from the third one. And that's Chuck. Why? You don't have why, I don't know. Cute. From here on in, we are at Blueville. Now, when they usually take movies and put them on TV, they cut things out to make them fit time-wise. When the Family Channel put the Grinch on, they actually added stuff back into the movie. And that's where the leather jacket and motorcycle came from. It's a scene where the Grinch is a teenager. It is a working Vespa. Just have to gas it up and you all can take off on it. On top of the mountain there is Max the dog. In the filming of this, they actually used Humane Society dogs. But like kids, you can't have the animals on the set for long periods of time. So they would get everything set and lighting and everything done with the stuffed dog, and then when they were ready to film, they bring the real dogs in. And of course, here we have the Grinch. His hair is made out of dyed yak hair, which is the same thing that they made Chewbacca out of in Star Wars. When it's wet, it gets really heavy and stinky. Jim Carrey had a very difficult time filming because everything's covered. He had these contacts in the dentures, the face. He became very claustrophobic. It was very difficult. So he was telling that to Ron Howard, and Ron basically told him he was being a big baby. So Jim Carrey dared him to put it on, and Ron Howard only lasted 2 hours with all that on. So they brought in a Navy SEAL who gave him some training in meditation and breathing techniques, and that's how he managed to be able to finish filming this. This is the sleigh that you see coming down from Mount Crumpet with all the toys in it. It was mostly used for still shots, but when they did have to drive it, there's a snowmobile inside. And there was a stuntman with cameras and monitors on the inside to drive it. There's all kinds of fun stuff in there. There's fans and blow dryers and tinfoil. Every time you look, you'll see something different. The public works cars, they work with, these are all from the movie Grinch.
Over here.
Where's your driving?
I promise. You want anything in there?
I didn't
Alright now, you guys intend on going down the slide. Anything you have in your right hand pocket or
One over here, ladies. Can you take out your picture? Here's your magical picture with Santa. You didn't see what they did here. Right totally here. Don't take this back around.
But you're going to sit in this. You're going to keep it inside the pocket there.
There's yours there. Give your interesting lady pictures or little pictures.
As you go down, you're going to put your hands up in the air.
Ready?
I'll go again. That one was fun.
Oh yeah.
Gets kicked by a mule, they go back to normal. I don't know.
The gift shop we walked through when we started.
We just went through.
Grandma wants to stop in there.
Well, you guys don't have to.
Yeah. We gotta go